the Young Content Show.
I'm lost inside of my head, looking for a way out. My thoughts are better inside. We gon' let it play out. I'm tired of chasing the bread, looking for a payout. When's it gonna be out? Call me to wrap my whole life up. All we could do is just try to put all the pieces together. Always don't mean it's forever. I wasn't meaning to bore you. I fought the demons before you. Treat it like a video game. Every level feeling the same. I've been working day to day to day to day to day. Give me one reason I'll stay. Reason I pray so hard. Reason I made it so far.
Welcome.
Peace, beloved, peace. It's your homie, Young Content, the unofficial sensei of the culture, mastering youthfulness, contentment, and NFTs. You know where you're at. You're in the dojo. Cue the sound. Booyah. Hope you're feeling the dojo vibes. How's your mind? How's your energy? Sorry about last week. We're here now with some serious horse alpha. This is actually, an actual use case for a blockchain. Wow. We're about to find out, but let's just have the chat roll in. Welcome. I know Angel's going to be here in no time. I'm excited for episode 118 of Live with the Sensei. We are also recording this for the podcast. So let me just check chat. APO. Chat is working. Boom, boom, boom. I got some cool stuff down the pipeline for the new year. Whole new brand, revamp, shorter form content, and just more alpha. But without further ado, I got to talk to this guy because I'm itching out the mouth to hear about the horse industry getting disrupted by Crown Ribbon. So without further ado, let me bring in the homie Doug. I just met him.
How's it going?
What up, dude?
We're ready to bring the horse industry on chain. So,
dude, an actual use case. Holy smokes! All this use cases I've ever seen was just speculation, and you're actually doing something in the IRL world.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of get away from the ephemeral nature of just monkey pictures and JPEGs, and although those represent no part
shade.
of our,
I'm just joking. Shade.
Yeah.
You can throw shade if you want, bro. Well, this is the Live with the Sensei, bro.
I think it represents a part of our culture that certain collections won't go away with time, but I think those leaders have pretty well been established, and it's time to broaden our horizons to some real world assets, and so there's kind of this natural progression that's taking place.
Dude, you seem like a straight giga chad. Like you know how to code. Like you do just the most interesting things. Do you do interesting things? Do you have a secret laboratory? You have that Peter Parker look, bro. And I don't know if anyone ever told you that.
The Peter Parker look. Well, I put a cowboy hat on, and everyone kind of sees right through it and knows that I'm just the nerd that is bringing the blockchain into the rodeo.
Sheesh. There's no crickets there for sure. For those that don't know who you are, could you give that short spiel? I would love to hear that spiel.
Yeah, you bet. So I'm Doug Leonard. I did start as an engineer, talked a big talk back in 2013 about how blockchain was going to change the world. And
Did you just say 2013?
Yep.
Sheesh.
And my wife said, well, if you believe that so much, why don't you get into the industry and actually, work it? So I got, hired at what was mainframe at the time as an engineer, worked my way up into strategy. And so I really kind of approached the space from a technical perspective, but then also really trying to understand it from a product perspective and solving real problems. And one thing led to another, and now I'm running Hi-Fi, and which is a lending protocol. So that's my background, kind of a dual-sided, I don't know what you'd say.
So lending protocol, so kind of like Sam Bankman-Fried?
A little bit different. We want to do the on-chain, transparent, non-fraudulent type of lending, but different execution, but a similar idea, I guess, in some sense.
I know I know you have integrity here, and you're going into a really crazy industry. I didn't know that horses was a $200 billion industry, and holy smokes, like, how did I miss that this whole time? I was trading JPEGs.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us who are just kind of coming to a realization of, one, how big the world is and how many industries are out there, and two, how you can be so isolated kind of in your own bubble as to what's relevant. I didn't know this either. I think when we started looking for industries that we could bring blockchain to actually disrupt, this came onto the surface because of one of the employees at Hi-Fi and some conversations that he had been having with other friends, and one thing led to another. We ended up getting connected with some industry leaders, so that's actually how we kind of ended up here.
Dude, I'm on your website right now. Very clean, very cool. It's giving me Parallel vibes, if you don't know that sci-fi trading card game. But why Crown Ribbon? So you said someone introduced you to this this new world, and you kind of just pieced it together, or how did that work? How did the inception of Crown Ribbon happen?
Yeah, so we were trying to solve a specific problem, and that problem was, how do you bring NFTs and have them represent real value? And it turns out, our answer at least is, well, if we could just back the NFTs with real value, make them SEC compliant, then it's a no-brainer. And so that's exactly what Crown Ribbon is it's a regulated offering that's going to help bring on horse syndications, which are cash flowing horse operations, and it's something that mapped really well to the NFT world, fractional ownership, the need for liquidity. They're an underserved demographic from the traditional financial world, where you can't get a loan against your horse, but you can get a loan against NFTs. And so we're planning to kind of open up the floodgates of liquidity, if you will, onto this horse industry.
Wow. Splexy, you hear that? Splexy is the 15-year-old degen prodigy. I don't know if 15-year-olds can buy your NFT and
hedge
on some of these horses.
They will be able to. Yeah, it'll be a regulated offering, so anybody, members of the United States or not, will be able to offer it or be able to purchase.
We're gonna keep diving deep, but shout out to Cryptophasia, Contentment, Becca Shives, throwing horses. I'm pretty sure Becca Shives loves horses. I think you actually rode horses one time, Becca. Splexy, what up, dude? Matt L, GM, Special K, Sauce is in the building. Sheesh, I'm getting a bunch of sheesh. That's awesome. So you had, how hard was it to get the SEC to back this thing? Because I feel like a lot of these NFT projects are selling you false hopes, and the SEC is just going to bring them down. So how were you able to work with the SEC here?
So the truth is, with regulation, regulations work a lot like protocols. It's a set of rules that if you follow properly, they will work with you. And so in following rules, it ends up in a business context being a function of time and resources, specifically with legal advisors. And so there are certain exemptions that the SEC allows for, and in our case, we've got an A+ regulation exemption, to where we have a whole bunch of things that we have to document that are attestations about the offering being made that help give you a little bit extra layer of protection that you don't get Bankman-Fried biased. And
holy smokes.
The nice thing is you get to compare the offering from what we've said to the government as well. And if we were to lie, there would be exponential consequences for me, which are uninteresting, and undesirable. So that's the way it works. A lot of paperwork. It's the boring side, and I think that's why crypto really hasn't ventured here yet.
Yeah.
Is because it takes upfront money and capital to invest into these ideas in order to bring safer offerings. Our culture has a very degenerate sort of ape into things, ask questions later, or hope you're out of the Ponzi before the bottom falls out type of feel to it, and it gets exhausting, and we were tired in playing some of these games as well, and so this solves that. Let's just make it legit.
I love that. You seem like a calculated cypherpunk. I mean, coming from 2013, that is, I remember, some of the OGs, Andreas Antonopoulos is someone who I looks up to that was from that time. So how did, I wanted to ask you, how can we guarantee that these, per se, I mean, I don't know the horse industry at this moment of time.
Sure.
How can you fuse what you're doing with that major horse industry? Is it something that you project that's gonna get liquidity, or do you have actual stables and people on board?
Yeah, so at this moment, we have gone out and acquired some particularly special horses. And the actual offering will take between 6 and 9 months for the SEC to do a couple back and forths with us and to finally be filed, and before we can actually make the offering to the public. But these horses, we've gone after, there's approximately 100 head of horse, and we've got the winningest mare in barrel racing history. And
you said what happens?
The winningest mare in barrel racing history.
Hold on, I gotta give you the sound effect of that. You're not gonna hear this, but the guys, that's APO, Alpha Plays Only. Sheesh! The winningest horse. So you're talking about a great breed here.
Yeah, a horse that's actually performed.
What is the price tag on that thing?
There is no price tag on it because we won't sell it. Outside of the context of the syndicate token offering. This is one of those horses where you don't sell because its reproductive outputs are so valuable that you stand to make more money by harvesting the mare's eggs and using in vitro.
So you're telling me if I have an offering on this horse, I get perpetuity royalties or something kind of?
Yeah, that's the idea. So we've gone out and particularly targeted horses across a specific circuit. So in this case, it's barrel racing. And as these horses make money throughout their lifetime, then their offspring are extremely desirable. And so we've got 100 head of horse, some real big performers, and then layers of offspring that are all kept by professional horse trainers and rode by professional cowgirls. And when these horses cash flow from their reproductive outputs, or from winnings, or from the sale of individual horses within the syndicate, our intention is to issue out a dividend to token holders. So cash flowing from horse reproductive outputs.
Bro, how is that when I'm thinking about passive income from fucking an NFT that's attached to a horse's breeding, I'm
Literally.
you know, there was a project called what was the digital horse racing one?
Yeah, I think it's a
Zedrun.
Yeah, Zedrun. There you go.
And I'm like, dude, there some of these Nakamoto purebreds were going for like 80 grand, and
Yeah.
this is all digital, and people were sucking up the juice. And you're telling me if you have flipped the script, what else can be done in your creative mind with this new model you're creating here?
So technically, and I'll have to give some amount of disclaimer that this is creative speak, and these are things that are technically possible, but may not necessarily be what we do or pursue in our products. But with tokenization, you could do a lot. You could abstract out, for example, the reproductive outputs, so that you could just purchase basically the semen output of a stud, or you could purchase the future offspring of a certain racehorse, and you can create these futures markets that previously are somewhat silly to create, but may serve a certain purpose for certain individuals. When you think about cowboys and cowgirls, you probably don't know, and I didn't until
I'm a cowboy. Can't you tell, man? This is the cowboy hat.
I mean, you've got a certain vibe, and
I'm just kidding.
you would fit in with these cowboys. They would put a different hat on you though. But these cowboys and cowgirls, the horse is their most valuable asset. Their car and their home cost less than their horse, and they don't have access to tools to borrow against this or to hedge out of a position. For example, if you've got this lucky horse or skilled horse that's winning these competitions, you can't take really your paycheck until you're either done racing it and you kind of put it on the stud circuit and are extracting out the reproductive outputs, or you actually go to a race and win it. And so this just we really hope disrupts the entire industry with the liquidity that we can introduce through tools like DeFi, and also like give skin in the game to the audience that already exists. If you could imagine Seabiscuit or Secretariat, some of these other famous horses, if you could have gone onto Twitter and then purchased $10 to $100 worth of exposure to that horse as a financial aspect, how cool would that be? Like, my daughter, who is 6, would love to get a pony for Christmas. Well, why not instead of getting her a pony, I get her a piece of the winningest mare in barrel racing history? Yeah, it's just so much better than a pony, and we can actually do that. Get your daughter a winning horse for Christmas. That's the kind of fun sort of storytelling you can do with these assets.
That's for sure. I mean, going to school with the biggest flex, like I own a piece of Secretary. It's like history. Whoa! Yeah. Holy smokes! Is this a token gated thing that you're trying to attempt, as well as the holders of these tokens have an actual stake in, like, maybe seeing this horse race? What does that look like for Crown Ribbon as far as token gating experience, or is that not something you're thinking about?
It is something that we've explored, and we're not exactly sure what the market is going to offer, given that as much as I might look like a horse person, we rely on some partnerships with others who are more familiar with that segment of our audience. And so I would love to do certain things, like you could do an NFT drop for the winner of a certain race, or you could do an NFT drop that could be redeemed for a buckle, belt buckle that commemorates some sort of accomplishment or a milestone that's hit. There's a lot of or an NFT token gated community that could get access to the live streams, or maybe the naming rights of some of the offspring that if you hold the token you could do. So it's definitely something that's possible. It's definitely something we've thought about. But in particular, there's one thing we know. There is product market fit for cash flowing assets, full stop. So if we can just get the token ownership with a dividend that can be issued on a regulatory compliant way, that's got product market fit, and everything else on top of that is just sugar.
Yeah, you're bringing a real a sector of adoption to this Web3 space, and if you do it right, you're gonna have more eyes on this stuff. I mean, I really think it could be a narrative. I'm honestly, I feel like I'm interviewing some type of historic thing that's about to pop off, and I'm so lucky. What does, so you said you started a lending program, right? Like a DeFi marketplace? No.
Yeah, we've got a DeFi lending protocol. That's correct.
Called Hi-Fi. Hi Finance.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Finance is our DeFi lending protocol, and we wanted to have interesting collateral types. And so this is a direct response to our search for, like, can we disrupt an actual industry? Can we onboard, really interesting collateral that gives people stories that they can tell? Because that's the way you're going to grow, is if, Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas time, you're coming around talking about your horse that just paid out a dividend from its semen cells. Like, nothing's more memorable than, tokenizing cryogenically frozen horse semen and discussing it around the dinner table. That stuff sticks.
That's mad science shit right there. I'm on your Twitter right here. It says fixed rate, fixed term borrowing against crypto, giving users instant liquidity to multiply their investment. And you got a token?
Yeah, so our token is MFT. We just went through a token swap, and so it's currently being, in the process of fully being changed. We're waiting on exchange support, which, I hope will come in the next, week or month or so.
So you have been running this protocol. Can I call it a protocol?
It is a protocol. Yes, that's
all right. You've been running this protocol, and one day over pizza, you had an aha moment, or were you tired of the same protocol narrative here? I mean, you seem like you're pushing the boundaries here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's I don't know whether it's boredom. It certainly wasn't an aha moment, but it was like how can we push the boundaries of what's possible? How can we create a story so incredible that it pierces through all the news cycles? It is something that can kind of be amplified. What is something so ridiculous that we're just so proud to, say that, yes, we were there. We were the ones that did that. That's the type of stuff that attracts a certain type of, team that makes them excited about what they're working on every day. And, honestly makes us laugh. And that's a real currency that we value, is, giving people these insane stories to talk about. So, whenever an idea that just the thought of it causes us to laugh, we always pause and say to ourselves, but can we do it? Can we pull it off? And in this case, it turns out the answer was yes. And so we've had other explorations, and we will do, more exotic things like this. But it starts right now, and the framework that we establish for the horses, will work with fine art, can work with other industries that are interesting, that people want to bring on as collateral. And so, just think about the things that you value and have ownership over. The ideal is that all of these things in our lives become tokenized, and through custody partners, we can actually create a credit system for non-standard assets and, maybe underserved markets and growth, and bring growth to industries that otherwise you wouldn't see it.
You're going to have the cowboys salivating at the mouth. You're going to have everybody at the rodeo going absolutely bonkers. I'm even thinking futuristic. I mean, when they have AI bots fighting, how can you stake a farm on the best code? You know what I mean? Wild stuff here.
Yeah, maybe Elon will put one of the neural links into one of these horses and ultimately change the game in that way.
You think that's
go real sci-fi?
Is that where your brain goes? That's interesting. That's interesting.
I mean, if you want to go sci-fi, I'm very creative, so I'll push the boundaries of what's possible.
Holy smokes! A Neuralink horse that has like data analysis. I mean, that's just not fair, though. I don't know if that would be fair for the race. No.
Well, it would open up its own category, right? So you probably have like
Yeah.
you would do barrel racing, or it would be interesting to see what sort of things you could tie in with the input, but without getting too wild with it.
Hit Money Eat says
it would have its
Skynet.
own category.
Hit
Yeah.
says Skynet, but horses.
There you go. And yeah, somehow you tie it into sentiment around the horse is following, and it can, it gets the rewards receptors to the brain, so it performs better as its audience cheers for it online. Maybe that's
Holy
where we're
smokes.
headed.
How do you know the beloved Ben Noble?
Ben and I have crossed paths several different times in our careers, and so we've worked with them on several occasions for marketing and partnerships, and they've helped promote hi-fi.
It seems like it's paying off, man. You got on my show.
That's right.
He's a good guy. He's a good cadet, a good legionnaire. He has the right mindset in this space. What are some of the what do you like about Web3? Like, what do you like about? Are you a NFT G-Gen? Do you flip? Are you a DeFi maxi? Like, what is your faux pas or like things you like?
Yeah, so if I'm going to characterize myself, I'm an early adopter. So I was well into DeFi before it was called DeFi. I was well into NFTs. I got as far as you'll recall that CryptoPunks were available for free. I connected my wallet and MetaMask to the site, and then when I saw that it was going to cost me $2 to claim my CryptoPunk for free, I decided, a little rich for my blood, and and then later I would buy one for $10K and flip it for 20 or 30. I've made it quite a bit on the Me Bits, and we have our own NFT collection, Pawn Bots, and so I'm an early adopter. And then I get bored of just the speculative side, and I want to get to the actual utility. An early example of this is, DeFi was cool for leveraging Ethereum. MakerDAO was kind of the OG debt protocol on Ethereum. That was boring. I wanted to finance my car, so I did. And so, early on, I paid for my minivan using a MakerDAO loan against my Ethereum, before the concept of DeFi really existed. So, I'm an early adopter. I'm an experimenter. I find value in that. I don't mind kind of paying a premium to have these, very early experiences and being able to see how it is going to change our world. And that's kind of the games I like to play, is if you got something new or novel, I want to make sense of it. I want to,
speaking of novel, keep going.
Play. Yeah, I want to play with these types of systems, token economic designs. They're very interesting to me.
When I show you novel, you said gamify stuff. You know what this is?
I know what that is. And we have a pawn bot dedicated to the NES system design. So
Track and field, baby.
There you go. You've got the nostalgia, right?
It really should be. It really should be equestrian something in that fucking cartridge. But you're gonna gamify. Are you excited to gamify this whole system here? Or does that excite you?
Well, ours is not a gamification layer. It's more of a financialization layer, and some people see the world of finance as a game. Am I excited? I'll tell you this. I know enough to be a little bit cautioned in my expectations, because when everything becomes hyper financialized, it does become a game, and for some it's going to rob them of sort of the essence of the sport, and they're going to have to learn math and finance, and to understand how do you hedge out of your position as a cowgirl, in order to,
that's evolution,
right? And they maybe selling a portion of their beloved horse just might cross some ethical boundary for them, or they just morally they couldn't live with themselves if they sold this. There's such a connection with these horses, so there's going to be trade-offs. Ultimately, my judgment is that these trade-offs will help the sport grow, will help bring maturity and stability and liquidity, and all of those things help that whole industry for the metrics in terms of growth make progress in. But that doesn't mean that everybody's going to welcome it with open arms. We're going to ruin some aspects of things, as innovation does anywhere. The automobile ruined the horse-drawn carriage market, but we'll have that impact, and we'll try and be sensitive to that. But ultimately, my judgment is that the net impact is a positive one, and one that is going to help a sport that traditionally is done by people who it's just for the love of it, or you've got billionaire dad who's just kind of funding the whole thing. But with our tools, I think we make it a lot more sustainable for people to make it a more predictable way to live for them, because we forget, for cowboys and cowgirls, this is their lives. This, they're competing in that arena so that they can go and feed their horse, so that they can go and feed their family. And so there'll be trade-offs, but I think it's a net positive.
Yeah, I was watching a freaking video of these racing pigeons in China that are that are crown jewels to these like Chinese families, and I'm like, holy smokes.
I joked with one of my business partners. I said, look, plan B, if horses don't work out, we're getting into racing pigeons. So
easily,
that would be a great NFT collection. Just a bunch of 10,000 collection of pigeons, but you actually could redeem it for your racing pigeon if you wanted.
With Crown Ribbon, how do you plan to I guess the horse's data, the UI, the UX, like how is the UI UX interface with like real-time horses and stuff?
So this is easy, because so Crown Ribbon is actually the custody partner of the ownership documents for the horses. So while custody of the horses is in professional facilities with horse professionals managing the day-to-day, the Crown Ribbon takes possession of the actual ownership papers. It's like a deed to a house, and then they also have auditing into the syndicates. And so as we see the flows of money, we're the dividends get paid out through Crown Ribbon, and we use it as a distribution platform for those profits as they come. So that's kind of essentially how the actual function of it works.
I love that. Yo, chat, throw me a random question for Doug, okay? Random question right now. Throw cherries in the chat as well. Thanks for lurking around. Eat. I appreciate it. Hope your project's going well. I need a random question because we're coming at the tail end soon. What else was I gonna tell you? When it comes to like, shout out to April Union. I see you in here. April Union, these guys are doing some crazy. When it comes to the, I've seen the Kentucky Derby, and it has a lot of cultural influencers there. I mean, fucking Drake was in there this year. People are looking at what the Kentucky Derby did as a cultural event to be a part of. First off, what hat will you wear, and how do you see yourself on the front row of the Kentucky Derby sometime with this project, marketing, posters? Like, what do you see yourself going to an event like that?
Yeah, we've imagined all sorts of stuff, and more important than me being there, I would love it if we could have token holders who actually get to have these types of experiences and unlock that for them. Because at a certain point, you kind of make this switch. And this happened to be whenever I started having daughters of my own. I didn't have to necessarily be the person having the experience. I got a lot of joy of watching, my daughters achieve something. And I think as a, somebody who really values customers and product development, there is something really satisfying about watching customers actually use your product to solve some sort of problem in their life or unlock some sort of experience there. So if not me, I hope it's one of our token holders. And in terms of hat, I'm real fond of attention, so I'll probably choose something that is loud and obnoxious enough to offend the people that are kind of like the established crowd, but just enough to where they don't make me take it off. And so I want that sort of it's loud and it's screaming for attention, but I guess technically it is.
I mean, yeah, man, you're gonna be a needle in a haystack. I don't know how that. Where a dime a dozen? I don't know. I think that's what it is. Everyone has a crazy head in there, man. Do you know that?
Oh yeah.
What's the day in the life in the office? Like, what's the day? So for those that don't know, April Union, if you just got here, Crown Ribbon, shout out to Doug Leonard, is going to disrupt the already expensive $200 billion horse industry by tokenizing horses and the breed. Just think about it all right there. That's just well for those that just got into the chat. How would you explain it? One more time.
Crown Ribbon makes it easy to buy and sell horse ownership. That's it, and you get full financial exposure to the assets, and it's regulated.
And if someone else tries to come and steal your thunder, what are you gonna do?
As long as Thunder isn't one of my horses, the name of one of my horses, I expect that any great idea is going to be copied, and that's why we've partnered with sort of these industry leaders. Our partner Chad Buse founded the Pink and Ruby Buckle, which are barrel racing competitions. Last week you
ever had whiskey with him?
I don't drink, but I would entertain him at a bar any day. Okay. I would love.
Sounds like a real good chap.
He's as cowboy as it gets. Let's put it that way.
Sheesh.
And this guy's been doing it for 30 years. This is how flipping horses. We think flipping NFTs is hard. Flipping horses is how he's fed his family. But he's the co-founder of this circuit that pays out more money to cowgirls and horse racers than any other barrel racing competition in the world. And so, we just had the NFR National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas this last week, and a couple of cowgirls and cowboys will go home with really, really big sums of money. In his competition, there are lots and lots of winners that go home with moderate sums of money, and it has actually created a very sustainable circuit that's just been growing year after year, where they've doubled the operation. And I think next year they're giving away $7 million, and I think the NFR gives away like $2 million. So like in terms of like who we chose to partner with, these guys are the top of the top when it comes to the barrel racing industry. So really got to rely on them for their expertise, because I can't tell a difference between these horses except who wins.
April Union says it would be cool to see some representation of Web3 at the NFR.
Yeah, I think there's already been some experimentation happening there around some experiences, token gated experiences. And if they didn't go live this last week, it will be live next year. And, hopefully we have some sort of presence by then as well. So
no one knows this about the Sensei, but I do have a horse tattoo on my, for real, right here. I have something called Hold the Reins right here in front of me. I have a fondness with horses. I mean, Beb Noble says don't screw them. I think he was just joking. I'm not screwing horses. I like horses. Okay, fuck. And I really am interested in how I can participate. How can an average Joe like me participate in some of the speculation or just buying a horse? Like, how do I go in? Give me the process.
Well, there's some huge hurdles to owning a horse outright on your own, and so that's what we solved. So Crown Ribbon, when we finish with our back and forth with the SEC, we'll do an official public offering, and you'll be able to just go and purchase an NFT, and you'll have that exposure. So, basically, it's kind of like having a baby. 6 to 9 months, when you can expect the filing to finish.
You're telling me the NFT, sorry to interrupt, so the NFT I buy from you is a random roll of a certain breed, or are you doing messing with traits, or is just this horse is what you're buying, this is the one?
Yeah, excellent question. So you're actually purchasing a fraction of a syndicate of 100 horses that have been professionally handpicked, and our horses, of course, I'm a fan of them. We got into this, because of, there was this billionaire woman who died, and her family didn't want to continue on to, build up this stable of horses. And so if you gave me $20 million, I couldn't go and rebuild this syndicate. These types of horses, they're just not available to be bought right away. This is the type of thing that takes years and years. And so because of this circumstance, we were able to step in, acquire a substantial stake in the syndicate, and then we're with our partner, and we'll be turning around and offering it as fractional shares of the NFT. We made this decision in particular because if, for example, we wanted you to just purchase single horses or shares in a single horse, it's much riskier. And we believe that if people are losing money on our platform more than people are making money, then we're going to have attrition outpace growth. And so it's much safer to sort of purchase this 100 head of horse that gives you exposure to a whole index of them, if you will.
That's that's so smart that you did that.
It's a full operation, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, I can already see people getting upset that they, I can see it. I can see the rage, ready to rage quit off this. And someone said, what will be the minimum fraction to purchase a share in Syndicate? Thank you, Cryptos, for the question. What will be the minimum fraction to purchase a share in the Syndicate?
So our incentives are to make it available to the broadest audience possible. So there are, so I expect that we will launch this on Ethereum. We've already played with Polygon, and I think there's just much more liquidity on Ethereum. And so there is a certain scale at which it doesn't make sense to purchase an NFT on Ethereum. For example, if it cost me $10 to finalize the transaction for a single share of a horse, and the horse share is valued at $10, that's a 50% fee that didn't go to us, the service providers for the platform, and it just went to the miners. And so, it's probably going to be some function of whatever the average gas cost is to transfer an NFT at the time that we make the offering, if that makes sense.
All right. So are we talking super expensive? Maybe like 1,000, 2,000, and then you'll just...
It'll be the smallest we could make it. So I would say between 10 and 100 would be, $10 to $100, because I really do want this to be something that who doesn't want to gift all their friends, $10 worth of horse flesh for their birthday? Like that's the ultimate way to say thank you for covering my lunch is just to send them a pound of horse meat.
For sure. I feel like I'm going to try to own a lot of, how would you say, fractions? That's the right, or syndicates, fractions? How do I say that? Shares?
It depends. It technically is fractional ownership of shares in a horse syndicate.
Nice. Another question came in. How will owners of NFTs be kept up to date with horse progress and when they are racing? Great question.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I expect that each horse syndicate will have its own social media following that it will be building and broadcasting out to. There's not a lot of value to like token gating like the horse racing. Like we want to share that with everybody and build our audience and let them know that there's this opportunity to come and buy and participate in these specific horses. So I expect that you'll be able to just watch them on Twitter, and you'll be able to see it whatever social media platform you're on. YouTube like this, you'll be able to stream it right away.
Wow, great question. I honestly am excited for what you're building, Doug. I know you are. What last question for me, what is the day in life of Doug Leonard?
I won't sugarcoat it. It's a lot of it is a lot of managing anxiety and working through many different things. We've got a lot going on between our NFT collection, our lending protocol, our horse syndication and tokenization, our token swap that just happened, working with exchanges to get them to support it, and the time differences there, and managing a team that's developing several different products. There is a lot that I have to stay on top of, and so there's a lot of, you go home, you spend time with your family, and your mind goes back to work, and you kind of can't turn it off. But the nice thing is I love what I do. And so even though there's that anxiety, it is fun, and I wouldn't rather be doing anything else.
I love that. I saw you probably got, you run your business like Mark Zuckerberg. Everyone has like a scooter, and people take like Elon's Twitter where they were taking long lunch breaks.
No, we are far from that. We are a little bit more button up, where We're not trying to pay people to keep them from competing with us. We're trying to hire the world's best talent in the blockchain space. So it's a very different work environment.
Whenever you do a Vice documentary about what you're doing and have Chad Boss in there, just if you could get me in there and a behind the scenes or as the interviewer, I would love that.
Perfect. Well, I think I imagine if we could actually get you out there to help us extract some of the horse semen, you would. I think the shot would be really good to get you in there, in on the action.
Dang, dude, horse semen, Jesus. I'm probably gonna be 6 feet apart away from that, but just to be able to see it and see the process that it goes digitally to Web3 is enough for me.
I mean, we can get you a hands-on role though. I think there's room for you in the storyline, so that we can get you in there
for sure. I love that you went with the name Crown Ribbon. It doesn't signify just horses. It could be anything at that point. I'm happy you didn't just go with real estate. This, guys, any final questions? You want to hit them up now? Dude, this was really cool. I think I covered a gamut of stuff.
Absolutely. I'll give you some context on the name. When you compete in the horse world, you win ribbons or you win, like the Triple Crown. And so, that's kind of the origin of that name is these are championship horses that we want to be offering and syndicating and tokenizing. And so we wanted to be reminiscent of that. And I think we captured it well.
Also, what's your favorite animal?
Favorite animal, I would have to go with pandas.
Okay. So it's not a horse.
They're kind of like,
Jesus.
They're a little deceptive and they look cute and cuddly, but they're vicious.
I love that. Guys, this is the part of the show, Doug, where I give you the gong. Unfortunately, I'm really lazy and I haven't put the gong sound. So I'm going to go to YouTube real quick and play a gong sound. So what the gong is, you are in the dojo. This is live with the Sensei 118, episode 118. The gong is a symbol of the truth, all right? This is a moment for you to tell the truth. You could tell any truth you want, really. You could say that you're a dog, whatever you want to do. But you have the floor after I press the gong or hit the gong, all right? Give me a second to hit the gong digitally. Gong sound effect. All right, here's the gong. That wasn't a gong, but it's good. You have the floor. Take us out, and we're going to get out of here.
Here's my truth. Blockchain's main innovation is an abstraction of trust. And what I mean by that is Bitcoin brought us a way to reposition trust within existing systems. As we look forward to the future, the most innovative breakthroughs in disrupting existing industries are going to come from products that reposition trust with the consumer. And so you can either bring it closer to the consumer or you can, bring it further away. And so as we look forward as an industry, ask yourself, are we repositioning trust within an existing system, and did we improve it? Does it outweigh the cost of, transaction fees, user onboarding? And if the answer is no, we've probably got some thinking to do, and we've got some more digging to do to find the real cases for where blockchain is going to change our world.
Wow. I got to give you the Shire on that one. That's some Frodo Baggins cyberpunk shit right there. Getting closer. Don't go farther away. Setting up boundaries and borders. What you guys are doing and bringing it closer. I love that. Cryptos says how to get whitelist. I think that's the greatest question I heard today.
No need to get whitelisted. It'll be a public offering, so it'll be available to everyone at a standard price. We have to list it with the SEC, and so you just got to show up, and then you'll be able to participate.
This is not where token go up really quick.
I'll tell you this: if token does go up really quickly, and the market behaves irrationally, then it's an expectation that those who have some should sell some, because this is a cash flowing asset, and cash flow sells for a certain premium on the market. And if we break out of these sort of rational models for what cash flow should cost, it would be a rational decision to sell. So I'll tell you this: if I'm sitting on any amount of horse ownership and it's trading at 2-3x what it really is worth, exit and then go buy yourself the next syndication. But I think over time, with liquidity, these things will behave rationally, because it really is. You're going to end up purchasing a creative certain rate of cash flow off of the operation. So it's a stable, predictable type of investment. It should be, at least, and that's what makes it a great candidate for collateral in our lending protocol.
For sure. Joe Biden would love this shit. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to go and do some karate training. Doug, much love. Thank you for being on the show. Guys, you know the drill. Live the dream, eat ice cream, and above all, stay content. Peace.
I can't wait to get my neck frozen. Each time it's stand for every night I'm fucking homeless. Had to take these L's for me to get this focused. Might collect the pick that I can buy a home with. All this APO inside the dojo. I'm sure you wanna take a photo. Say you ain't going when you don't take risks. That's why you don't fall for FOMO.
Yeah, and I still shoot from the logo. How you get this far off a photo? They just always gon' hate what they don't know. All the see like what I need a bag for. Running to these plays, no hassle. Couldn't spend what I spend on gas though. Now she wanna pull me in, no lasso. Would've bought a Montclair, didn't match though. Shit.
Man, you wanna act like an asshole. Man, you wanna burn this cat sight. Knew that fella and I got it from sight. Just started shit and I feel like I might take get my neck frozen. Each time